So today I'm talking about a P0328 code, what it is, and how you can go about fixing it. And so what is a P0328 code? Well, it's a knock sensor 1, circuit high, bank 1, or single sensor. And so what does this all mean? Well, basically, that's what's called a knock sensor that's going to be bolted to the engine block. And the knock sensor is just a device that listens for any kind of vibration, pinging, knocking noise, anything like that. And if it detects any of this, then it's going to report it back to the computer, which is then going to adjust the timing to prevent any damage that can happen to the engine. But when you get this P0328 code, the computer's seeing a problem with this knock sensor, mainly inside the circuit. And so it's going to have to be troubleshooted to know why. And if you have a V6, V8, V10, V12 engine, the engine's going to have two banks. Bank 1 is always inside the engine with the number 1 cylinder, and then the opposite of that is bank 2. If you do have a V6, V8 engine, very likely there's going to be 2 knock sensors. If you have a 4-cylinder engine, most of those are just going to have 1 bank, and usually those only have 1 sensor. And so what are some possible causes of a P0328 code? Well, it could be a bad knock sensor. It could be in the wiring going to it. And it's also possible that there's some kind of computer problem going on, although that's kind of rare. And if there is a computer problem, usually it just doesn't give you 1 code. Usually you get a lot of different codes. And so a few things to note about these knock sensors is that very often they're located in hard to reach spots. They'll be like up underneath the intake manifold or things like that. For example, here's a Chevy 5.3 liter engine and the intake manifold's been taken off. And if you look right here, here's going to be 1 knock sensor, and over here is going to be the 2nd knock sensor. And because these knock sensors can be located in hard to reach spots, a lot of people will relocate the knock sensor to another part of the engine, go find the wiring harness that's going to it, and then plug into that. For example, here's a knock sensor that's been relocated to the front of the engine. It's been bolted directly to the engine block, and then the wire that goes back to the computer is just tapped into that. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but many people do this. If you do go to do this, it's a good idea to research your particular vehicle, like in forums, or see if somebody else has made a video on it or something like that, because there can be different results depending on the engine. Also, if you do this, I would suggest to use high octane fuel, like at least 91 or 93 octane, because that can help prevent pinging going on inside the cylinders. So again, I don't recommend doing this, but many people do it. And if you do use this method, be sure to do some research on it on your particular engine, because again, results can vary with that. And there can't be 1-wire knock sensors or 2-wire knock sensors, which are very similar. It's just the ground with the 1-wire sensor is going to be where you bolt it into the engine block. It's going to screw directly into the engine block, and that's going to be the ground. While the 2-wire sensors, they have their own dedicated ground wire coming out with the signal wire. And the signal wire is going to be going back to the computer. And another thing to mention is that if you do go to replace these sensors, it's always a good idea to get OEM knock sensors for that particular engine, because these third-party aftermarket sensors, sometimes they cause a lot of issues or they don't work very long and different things like that. So if you do go to replace that sensor, I always suggest using an OEM sensor that goes to that engine. And so there's a few different methods to go about testing this and seeing what the problem is. If you have a multimeter, you can go and test it. And if you want to test that knock sensor directly, you just run your leads to it and check to see what the resistance value is, what the ohms are. You could then look up what the rated resistance value is supposed to be for that particular knock sensor and be sure it falls inside that range. You can also set your meter to AC millivolts, connect the leads, and then tap that sensor. And when you do that, you should see like a reading. You should see like a little voltage spike. There's some good videos on this. I've made videos on this. I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to check that out. But you can go and test that knock sensor if you want to. You can also get wiring schematics for that particular vehicle and test the signal wire going back to the computer. And if there's a ground wire, you can also test that. It's very common that the harness that goes to that knock sensor, that it gets an open on it, has a bad connection or something like that. So if you have a multimeter, you can go and test that wiring harness and check to see if it has an open or a short. If you do go to replace that knock sensor and it is inside of a very hard to get to spot, I would suggest just go ahead and replacing this harness. But if the old one tests good, you might get away with it. And the last thing on the list is going to be a bad computer. But like I said before, this isn't going to be too common. It is fairly rare for the computer to go bad. Also, when a computer does go bad, it usually doesn't just give you 1 code or even just a few codes. Usually it gives you a lot of different codes and like communication codes. But a bad computer does happen sometimes. So the last thing on the list is going to be a bad computer. And so that's basically it. I just wanted to give a basic overview of how you go about fixing a vehicle with the P0328 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me. I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.